And welcome back to Lima Land. Jeff Hobbs, the voice of Triple D Entertainment, right here with you. And we have the who's who of Demolition Derby this week at the King of Ohio 2.0. And we're going to get a chance to introduce you to a few of them just here in a couple minutes. Yes, we are at the Lima Land, the Allen County Fairgrounds here in Lima, Ohio. It's Father's Day weekend, June 16, 17, and 18. Again, we have some of the best of the best. Triple D Entertainment, proud to bring it to you, powered by JEGS. And again, last year we did a couple press conferences with some of our drivers, some of our big King class drivers. And again, going to introduce you to the owner and operator of Triple D Entertainment, Dustin Woods, down on my other end here. And Dustin and I are going to piggyback here with this press conference with some of our best drivers. Dustin, take it away.
Thank you, Jeff. You're right about the who's who this weekend. These cars in this King class and just across the board are something special. And we're really, really happy that these guys chose to support us. But we're really excited to see this action on the track. So we'll go ahead and get started with these guys. I'll introduce them here from your left to the right. That's Brendan Whisman. He is our defending rear-wheel drive King class champion. He'll be driving a 70s Chevy wagon. We got Wes Monebrake in the Packers gear there. He'll be driving a 70s Chevy wagon too. We got Jason Kinman in the middle there. He's driving a 9802 Ford with a square body on it. Our defending King class champion, Cory Roman, is he decided to bring a 70s Chevy wagon, or a 70s wagon, Pontiac wagon. And then we got Zack Eaton on the end, and his weapon of choice was a 9802, correct? Town car. There we go. Town car. So, without further ado, let's ask you guys some questions. Leading up to this event, there's been a lot of hype. Okay, you guys have spent a lot of time in the garage. What's it like this year? What's the feeling? We'll start with Cory. You were defending champ last year. You've been through the ringer here. You've been through a heat. What's the mentality going into this year?
I mean, it's pretty much the same. I mean, you come to a show like this, you're going to have top quality drivers. So, I mean, year to year, it really doesn't change much. I mean, this year, obviously, the field's even more stacked. There's more drivers from more areas, and the numbers are greater. And, I mean, it's pretty much the same preparation. Just got more people to beat. Hopefully I get lucky enough I can do it again.
Go ahead, Brennan.
I'd say the mentality for this year is, it's going to be different for me. So I stepped into a class that I've never been in, nor have I thought about being in. But I'm looking forward to it. I'd say it's going to be a who can bite first instead of getting bitten back. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Kinman, step in here.
I like good competition, and there's not a driver or car here that you say, yeah, I want to draw that guy. So the competition's elite, and I think the action's going to be fast-paced, so I look forward to that. The format is something different that nobody's done before, and I think it's going to be very interesting, and I'm excited about the show.
Yeah, I'm real excited about the show. I agree with Kidman. The competition at this Derby, the car builds that I've seen around, everybody's got lots of nice equipment here. It's going to be an awesome show to see. Lots of good drivers. So,
I think it's crazy. You got a good spread of cars here, in the rule set. Any given car could get the job done, I feel like. And no driver here is any slouch either. So I think anybody on the fairgrounds could get the job done, and it's going to be wild to watch. So,
well, I'll add to that next. Everybody at home, you see these Pepsi bottles. It's about sponsorship, and that's what Derby's become. Triple D Entertainment's been all about trying to let these guys name and license themselves. You're going to see, if you take a look over there at Cory Roman's shirt, Cory, show that good-looking shirt off right there. That is a Cory Roman King of Ohio Championship shirt, number 834. So what we're trying to do, Dustin Woods has been really a front runner in the industry to try to give these guys a platform, give them a chance to let somebody else pay for the car, because they don't need to tell you, but I can tell you they got $20,000 to $50,000 invested in these big monsters. And again, it's going to be a show of a show. So let's run back through it, and I'll start with Jason Kinman here in the middle, because I know Jason's all about this. But talk a little bit about maybe some of the folks that have helped put you on the map, maybe pay for a few things, do some things for you, some of your sponsors, and some of the folks that you want to give a shout out to.
Yes, I've been very fortunate. Last year, Topeka, Kansas, me and Team Killer, we went out there to run the qualifying side, and Triple D Entertainment and JEGS helped us out there. And then also Valvoline is sponsoring all of our fluids right now, and that's a huge help especially with the expense of everything. Bolts, let alone fluids and all these things we had to buy. But as far as helping me get to the track, number one guy is my big brother. I wouldn't be doing this without him. Support and all the help. I'll have good friends, that I work with in the garage. And then Top Dog Promotions, I've derbied with them for 16 years. They've always been very supportive. And Simple Solutions, he makes some products and he supports me and sponsors me. It really takes a village to build these cars, and sponsorship and all that really helps. And what I've done that's really helping is pushing my social media stuff. So TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all these things. I think in the future, for us to keep building this up, that's what we really need to do, is show people outside of the derby world what we do and how smart we are and how hardworking we are. We're not a bunch of rednecks and idiots. Some of the most genuine and smart people you'll meet run derby cars. So it's important for us to show the rest of the world that.
Well, Jason, to piggyback off that, I definitely agree with you. It's important, but what you guys are doing right now, coming up here, being willing to talk, people want to see this stuff. So it's much appreciated that you guys are willing to do that. I want to switch gears here a little bit. Some of you didn't know each other or don't know each other personally prior to the settings like this. I saw a couple of you guys introducing each other. There's storylines to be written for each one of you. I mean, you could go down the list. Brendan could be the first, guy to win two different classes at the King. Okay. I know Wes is looking for his big money win. Kinman's coming off his Blizzard Bash win. Cory's trying to repeat, and then Zack's trying to come up here and take King of Ohio, not the PA like last year, but to Kentucky. So the storylines with each and every one of you, I think, is really, really neat. And let's talk about the journey to get here. So let's just go down the list and talk about the journey to get here.
It's funny you say that. You see Facebook memories pop up all the time, and not a week or two ago, I had one pop up. It was probably 11, 12 years ago, and when we first started hitting it hard, my dad he took me around. We went everywhere. Went old school, the Metal Mayhem, 100-something cars. Went and watched, and we sit around the garage and we talk about it, and it's all we do. It's all we talk about, and what it would be like to get that big win or go back and do something again. We run together all the time, and I think everybody has their time, and it's just a matter of how the cards fall, and it could be anybody's at any time, and we're all ready for that to happen. So looking forward to it. I'm looking for some good luck and a good run.
I mean, I started 20 years ago just running compacts in my county fair. Nobody to help, nobody. I just thought it looked like it was fun and found a car in the backyard for $25. And, I'm a very competitive person and just kind of snowballed from there. And Bo Lockwood had Keystone Nationals he brought to actually my home county fair. And, going there and you see the older guys and their different kinds of builds and, get you thinking outside the box, and taught me a lot. And then, I ventured out to Bash, and, then we really started getting the ball rolling, and, Reckless Warriors Tour, and then, going out to Vegas and, top 10 at Bash. And I mean, it's been a wild ride up to this point. Obviously the last big win I had, obviously right here last year. Hopefully we're still climbing up and not climbing down.
I think for me, run a long time and won a bunch of derbies, but getting the big win in Kansas was huge for me. And I think to piggyback off that is what's next and how do I improve my builds, how do I improve my driving. And to piggyback off what Zack said is some days it's your day, and some days it's not. And top quality parts and top drivers, only one winner. So you're only as good as your toughest competition, and looking around the room and the cars, whoever gets that is an elite place because there's no powder puff draws. And for me, that's why I'm here. The money doesn't matter like the win, and the money helps. But to know you win against the best, win or lose, you're here. And that's a victory in itself. The work that goes into these cars, the countless sleepless nights that goes into these builds, you definitely push yourself to the limit, and that's what I'm about. Physically, mentally, financially, you push yourself to the limit to run these shows. And for me, I'm always trying to raise the bar like these other drivers and builders is, well, where can I improve? And you improve by running against the best. So that's why I'm here.
So like Dustin had said earlier, I've been chasing the big Derby win for years. I'm older than all these guys sitting at the table. I used to run way back in the Demolition Derby days. So I've come close several times. I got second at Mayhem a couple years ago. Placed at Bash for Cash a few times. So just trying to get that big win. So like for the journey to this Derby, went and I'm like, I want a Chrysler Imperial. So a couple of buddies of mine, they go to Georgia, pick up an Imperial. I get it home. Never ran an Imperial before. So I'm like, I've always wanted to. And I get it in the garage. I'm just sit there and stare at it for about 3 weeks. And then I'm like, man, I know I can make it hard, but I've never built one. I think I'd rather just get me an old style wagon. I know a lot more about them and know what to do to make them hard. So it's definitely going to be a good time tomorrow. And all these top-notch drivers, all of us are, like he was saying a minute ago, everybody's extremely smart. It's a good time. All of us get shake hands when we're done, have fun out there. Just put on a good show for the fans. So
my journey's relatively short compared to everybody up here. I just started about 7 years ago, but I've always wanted to try to keep getting better and better, and this is the place to be. And I'm really excited to be out on the track with these guys, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the guy sitting next to me and all my buddies that helped. And it's like Kinman said, it does take a village to build these cars. It actually takes more. And I can't thank everybody enough, especially Ruts Fab. They've been with me from day one. So.
Well, and Brandon, I think you make a great point. You talk about groups. I know every one of these guys wouldn't be here without family, without the love of friends and guys helping build. I remember Brandon, his dad was crying on the track last year when he got the dub. It's just that's what it's about. To see these guys have grown up in a shop. They got their kids are growing up in a shop. We're going to have a youth class that's going to be unbelievable this year. I've seen some of those youth builds. You see the hardware right down here in front of me, all these King of Ohio trophies. And we said, this is what you want in your shop. This is that big one, the big whale that you're trying to get. And again, Cory's the guy that was fortunate enough. Brandon got one last year. Really like to throw a shout out to the University of Northwest Ohio. They've come on board as a big sponsor for us this year. And I'm going to start with Brandon, maybe only Brandon, but again, he's the youngest guy in this panel. Talk to me about when you started this thing as a youth and how you got yourself going and what made it really special for you. And now 7 years later, you're already a King of Ohio. You're stepping up in class and going to the next level, and what it means for a place like UNOH, which is big-time motorsports, to put money in their mouth behind Demolition Derby.
Oh, it's huge because I started out in the youth class at Bash, And that was, a while back when it was paying $1,000 to win, which is, it's more about being in the garage with Dad, and he's who got me into it. And that was the biggest thing. But, for them to put up, what they're doing for the kids, it's just great. I mean, it gives them more reason to go out. I'd much rather see kids out in the garage building derby cars than out on the streets causing havoc. I'd rather see them busting knuckles instead of windows. That's just how I see it. I've always been raised in the garage. I enjoy it, and there's no place like it. It's great.
Well, thanks, Brandon. And I mean, again, I think every guy here in this table will shake his head and say he grew up in a shop. He started this thing. If you go to DDEntertainmentLLC.com, you can see a profile of every one of our King class drivers, including these 5 guys that are sitting in front of you. It's pretty cool because it was neat for me as the voice of D Entertainment to know and find out more about these guys, about their families, about their background, about some of their best builds, some of their biggest wins, and when they started this thing. And the funny thing is, Dustin, you can chime in here, but almost to a T, every driver that's in this King class started somewhere, and they got their ass handed to them the first time they went out. So anybody want to raise their hand here and talk about their first derby that they remember where it was memorable for whatever reason? Oh, Wes, you got to tell me.
I won't really talk. Well, my first derby, I actually won. I ran a compact car. It's the only compact car I ever built. But I will tell you, I'm from Preble County, Ohio, and there is a lot of extremely good drivers from that area. I think there's probably 8 to 10 derby guys that's won over $10,000 big derbies in that county, leaving me one of the few that has not. But so when I was young and we first started running, there was a group called PCHM. So, and there's probably 15 or 20 of them. And I was really good friends with all of them, but I never derbied with them. So when I'm first getting started out into the big cars, and this is 30 years ago, I would go down, and they'd always get beat by numbers for sure. Sometimes they just shoved me and blocked me in with a car. I mean, there was just no way to beat them, or I'd eventually my car would get junked. And then, so I just go back to the garage, start thinking, what do I need to do different? What can I do to compete with them? And then eventually I was able to just keep working up, not placing. And then I'd get into the placements where I'm placing. And then within a year later, a couple years later from the beginning, I started really competing with them and giving them a run for their money. I think it was in 2003 at our county fair. Sports Illustrated actually came there and did a little interview thing. They went to several county fairs around Ohio. And actually, it came down to 7 guys against me that night, and I was able to pull off that win that night. So, and that's a pretty memorable. I can remember that win pretty well because 6 of those guys have won $10,000+ derbies. So,
well, Wes, I know that means a lot to you, and it meant a lot to me. You gave me the magazine just like a couple years ago, that Sports Illustrated magazine. In which that article was in it with along Preble County, with Mercer County. There was a couple other counties, and that might not be a $10,000 win, but that was a very, very impressive win. Switch gears here back to inspection a little bit. We did something with our fix-it plates this year in which if you basically came through with to the rules, okay, you were able to get fix-it plates. Can you guys talk about like if that changed your mentality to build? What did that mean for you? Did you attempt to try to get that? Did you get it? Were you successful? What was the thought process behind that?
So we built 2 of the King class cars in our shop, and I know at various points, of the build, it would always come back up. Well, what about the 2 plates? I mean, because obviously, if you're familiar with the rule sets, you know that those 2 would probably benefit your car quite a bit. And so you get to a point at the build where you might want to try to push something, or you might want to try to just get something by. but at the same time, you stop yourself and you think, what is this really worth risking taking those 2 plates away from you? And you got to weigh the situation there. And there was multiple times throughout building these cars that comes up, and it's always in the back of your mind. So you try to stick. Well, we did. We tried to stick, very close to that guideline as we could as possible. So.
Yeah, I mean, I like having the benefit of the 2 fix-it plates. I'm never was one to really overbuild and then sit and cut for hours in the 90-degree weather. It just never was attractive to me. It was kind of a running joke between me, Pete Hansen, Davey Chapman, Zach Eaton. Every time we talked to each other, we'd send each other a picture. And what's that? You're not going to get your fix-it plates. And you go back through, and you're right. Every time you see it, you'd see something little. So we were always changing stuff on our cars because the other sent a picture, and everybody read something a little different, or you missed it. There was always a little line somewhere in the rules with a certain size specification or a bolt size that a lot of people don't notice, and definitely made it more time consuming because you had to go back to the rules quite a bit, and you always add another 10, 15 minutes on to any task you're doing because you're looking through the rules. But we went and got them, and hopefully they benefit us, and hopefully I draw somebody in the heat that didn't get them. So it's only going to help the honest people, and I think honest people help everybody. So
I think for me, I have the tendency to overbuild, and I always had the mentality when I go to a derby and I don't cut on my car, I'm underbuilt. So the fix-it plates really changed my mindset, and I paid more attention to the details of the build and made sure I don't do any extra seam welding where I'm not allowed, and the size of your plates and everything. So to me, the 4x6 plate is a lot better than maybe 10 little things I would have had to cut on my car anyways. So for me, that's why I tried to get them, and I was fortunate enough to get them. I do think it reels us drivers back a little bit, which is probably better for the inspectors and us too. Like he said, standing out in 90-degree weather, cutting for hours isn't always fun. So I like it, and I hope in the future it's something that continues because I think it's a huge benefit.
Yes, I agree. I think the 2 fix-it plates is a huge benefit for the cars. I've probably never read a set of rules so many times. I bet you I read these rules 20 and 30 times, different sections of them, because I'm one that likes to push the rules also. I bet you I called Toby 30 times. Toby Hiley's the head inspector. And I'll say I've been derbying for 32 years, and up until now, I probably called Toby more than I've ever called officials the whole 32 years. So I'm sure Toby had to answer a lot of questions, but it kind of did pull you back and made you stay focused on the rules and stay focused on the build so that you could get the fix-it plates, because the fix-it plates, what they do for me is they complete the car as far as where you put them, where you choose to put them. So I was very fortunate enough to get my fix-it plates also.
Yeah, it definitely changed the mindset of everything. You really had to watch what you were doing, and there was times we'd do something and then just cut it right back off because we realized, that was dumb. Probably shouldn't be there anyways. Even the day before the Derby, we were looking at stuff like, probably take that off too. We built our cars around getting those 2 plates, and there wasn't nothing stopping us from getting those 2 plates. And I was very fortunate to get them too. I'm sure it was an easy day for the inspectors, and that's great because I know that's probably a long day. And I'm sure they got a really long weekend ahead of them, but hopefully it made it a little easier that about 80% of us got through in about 30 minutes.
Well, again, gentlemen, we cannot say enough thank yous for spending some time with us. And I want to throw out a shout out to, and I know every guy here will do the same, that you heard the name Toby Hiley. Toby Hiley is the head inspector for Triple D Entertainment and the King of Ohio. He is on the Mount Rushmore. If you are a Derby guy, you know that you know the name Toby Hiley, and he's unbelievably well respected. His whole group of his inspection team did an amazing job, and handling these guys, answering questions. And Dustin's beautiful. I mean, he'll get guys who'll call him, nope, not answering that. You need to talk to Toby. And that's kind of the way you stay consistent in the promotion world when one guy answers the questions, and that's Toby Hiley and his crew. So we say thank you to Toby. Thank you, gentlemen. Again, you paying this crowd. They want one of these trophies, folks. They want this to go in their shop. 2 of them already have them, and they want another one. This is some of the best here in Lima, Ohio this weekend. Get out here and see us if you can. We say thank you to JEGS, to UNOH. Again, one more quick plug. If you're seeing this, UNOH is having a tour tomorrow at 9 o'clock. They're going to peel back everything. They're going to show you their NASCAR team, their sprint teams, their Monster Jam teams from 9 to 12. They're going to feed everybody lunch and give everybody giveaways. So can't say enough great things about the sponsors. But, again, you're looking at 5 of the best drivers in the country right here in front of you, and there's a whole bunch more out here on this fairground. So get out to Lima Land, King of Ohio 2.0 here in Lima, Ohio at the Allen County Fairgrounds. Have a great evening.